Hello everyone and welcome to Kings Row Collectibles. Today we are going to take a first look and talk about first impressions to Summoner's Duel, the new Fey mode, the new Fey player versus player mode rather. I'm going to talk today about how this game mode works, how to win, some ways to improve, some of my own strategies, and I'm also going to be talking about my thoughts from the Fey channel and, kind of going forward. So just real quick, everything I'm recording audio-wise is in post because I cannot talk and think at the same time. So please enjoy. Summoner Duels is a new PvP game mode where players can face each other in real time, and you need to pick a captain. So here my captain is Legendary Sigurd, and what you are going to do is earn favor that'll help you earn really valuable rewards, actually really good rewards in my opinion. You can see a list of your past matches. Actually, this is like a foreshadowing, so don't look at these too closely. So you can actually view your favor from the favor menu and view your ranking. You can see how you rank with the same exact units, and some people have already gotten them to 1,000. My goal is to get Sigurd to 1,000 before people learn how this game mode works. So you need to attach a unique skill to your captain. There's 3 different choices. The first is Earth Rendering. At the start of turns 2 through 4, if your captain is in the capture area will move 1 space closer to your team. In this mode, you score points by either killing enemies or staying in the capture zone. Adroit Captain gives +5 speed and basically legendary Byleth's null follow-up effect, and I use him in my team, so I don't run that. Secret Maneuver is what I run. It disables skills all outside of the foe and gives -1 cooldown to your teammates, etc. You can only have 1 save skill, which I actually think is really good. So you just watched my favor go down if you were paying attention closely. I'm showing you a glimpse of my team here. It's actually pretty disgusting, hugely whale team, and that is who this game mode is going to favor, is huge whale teams. I feel badly about that. I kind of wish that it was ranked somehow, or favor meant something a little more, like you were only matched with players with similar favors. But for the most part, you are going to be facing me, a mega whale, and I feel badly about that. I always do the same formation with these units. I actually have my Legendary Sigurd with attack defense solo and not quick and pulse because I need the extra attack and defense to take down Brave Erika's, and my Halloween Sothis can charge Sigurd's special with her duo skill. So a couple things, if you notice under the character stats, there are 2 blue numbers and 2 red numbers to the right. There is a sword icon that indicates points for killing enemies, and there's a square icon for capture points. I'm not 100%, but it seems that after turn 1, whichever team has more units within the grid will get grid points for that turn. After turn 2, if both teams have the same amount of units inside the grid, neither will get grid points. Basically, you win this game mode by having more attack and capture points than your opponents. They add together. So I have 3 attack points, and you can see I just earned 2 square points because I had more units in the grid than my opponent. So my total score right now is 5, and you can see they just earned 2.
Of course.
That's kind of the gist of things in the beginning here. Now, one tip I want to give you right off the start is I'm a very aggressive player in this game mode because I think the majority of people just try to stall, like that's their first go-to strategy. And Legendary Sigurd really doesn't allow that because he covers so much of the grid that players are always going to kind of be on their toes. Another thing I do with Legendary Sigurd is I throw him into the entire enemy team, and we'll see if that ever comes up. But basically, because I've noticed that players just try to stall, just try to stall, just try to stall, they never see Sigurd coming. Like, they don't believe that he would actually take out, he would go and initiate when there's 4 or 5 of them together. Now, my Legendary Sigurd is very heavily invested, so he can take out some blue threats like Not, Brave Erica, and others. But for the most part, I haven't seen really any Legendary Sigurd counters, except for Brave Erica, in this mode. So right now, I think he has kind of a monopoly on this game mode as the most useful unit. Alright, and without further introduction, the first match is over. So thank you, Cog, for that match. And if you complete a game, meaning you defeat every single of your enemy's opponents, you'll get 20 favor. And it doesn't even matter if they defeat your units. As long as you win and they last the whole game, you'll get 20 favor. Now, the issue comes when people surrender, you're going to get less favor. But it's also good that if you lose, you will get favor as well. I think my record here is something like I'm won 32 games and I lost only 2. I lost 1 game because I just didn't know how the game mode works. And I apologize that this is kind of like on the background of me playing versus, cool edited, like highlighted, zoomed in, all that kind of stuff. But as someone who's not really like super smart at this game, I just thought maybe you'd like my perspective. I've noticed that the team on the bottom left always goes first, and as the game goes on, sometimes I'm not really sure what determines who goes first and who doesn't. I haven't really figured that out just because I haven't really paid attention to it, so unfortunately I don't have all the answers. But one thing that's important to know about this game mode is that you take turns with your opponent. They move a unit, you move a unit. They move a unit, you move a unit. The turn doesn't end until all units have moved or all 6 action slots have been taken. So because I moved my Legendary Sigurd, I will not be able to move him again until the end of the turn, which is why some skills like reposition might actually be pretty helpful, because you can get Sigurd kind of closer to action, but you can still use his attack. So you could get yourself into trouble if you're not careful, and if the enemy team has a dancer, they may be able to sneak one over on you because you won't be able to move your unit again until the end of the turn. So, since you're allowed to choose between one saver, I have chosen my far save Fjorm, and I haven't seen many near save units. I feel like there's so many ranged threats that people want to try and cheese that a ranged savior might actually be your best bet. My Halloween Sothis very rarely gets action, but she mainly serves to provide her duo skill, which sometimes even just using it spooks the other team, and it makes them like end their turn, or they want to wait because they don't want to deal with any follow-up attacks or follow-up negation.
Take my hand.
Happily.
So this is one of those moments where I'm going to throw my Sigurd into their entire team and take out their biggest blue threat. And usually if I take out their biggest blue threat, my Sigurd will be okay. So I think that's a mistake a lot of people make in this game mode, is they play too cautiously. They don't expect the other person to make a move like that. At least that's what I've noticed in my games so far. I honestly don't know if any of these Micaiahs can take out my Sigurd as is, because he's pretty strong. But like I said, people, I think, play a little too cautiously. And yes, I have had those annoying stall games. I'll just take a second to talk about the one skill where if you equip your captain, with this skill inside the grid will actually move up or down one space per turn as long as the captain with that skill is in it. That can be kind of annoying and challenging, especially in this area right under Legendary Byleth here with the tree, the horse fence, the river. If you're on my side and the grid moves down, that can actually be a scary thing. So you see, me and my opponent are swapping blows. I don't think either of them will be able to take out my legendary, or excuse me, my Ascended Fjorm. And they surrendered. So even though I win, I will not get the max favor, which is 20 per match. I got 18. Okay, so I actually just played 2 matches. I got my first draw, and then I won the second one, but I cut them out because they were against the same person, and it was just kind of like a stall tactic team. If you finish a match with someone and you immediately join back in the queue, it's possible you'll face the same person twice, which isn't a problem, but it is just something to think about. It has happened to me twice, so sometimes I'll just wait a couple seconds before joining the queue again. If you've been playing this game mode, you've probably found that some threats are more common than others. For instance, Brave Erica is a very, very big threat in this game mode, as well as Ascended Fjorm. But I think one thing that makes Brave Erica so good, aside from her being amazing, is her reposition and Canto ability. So I use her a lot to get my Sigurd out of trouble, and then she can just Canto back into Ascended Fjorm save range. So aside from her just being a busted unit, she's really good with movement and her Canto. Another threat I see a lot is Fallen Edelgard, which you know how we feel about that. But I actually haven't run into too many high investment ones, and I still haven't seen a plus 10 one, so I'm not sure how that would go. But I do think my team can actually handle her with my Null follow-up, with my Brave Erica, with my Legendary Byleth. So although she's a common threat in this game mode, I'm not really that worried about it. I actually equipped in my Fjorm with, and I'm not going to remember the name of that sacred seal, but it's the magic, Deflect Magic. Yeah, that's what it is. It's Deflect Magic, because I've seen a lot of Ninja Korins that can take out Fjorm, even though she's plus 10. So I put that on for safety, and it's actually been helping. So another mistake I've seen people try and make, let's say the units are in the positions as they are now, but let's say they're 1 up on me, like I have 1 unit down and they have all 5. Sometimes they'll try and stall by being outside of this grid, and that is how you lose this game, because I will get points if I have more units in the grid than they do. So again, people are still kind of trying to figure out how this game mode works. But that's a mistake I see. If someone gets a 1-up on me, they leave the grid and they run away from the grid, and you need to stay in the grid to win.
Truly, I see.
So now I'll talk a little bit about my impressions on the Fae channel. I think in short, and I don't mean to be negative, and I am aware of the negativity around this game, and I partake in discourse about the negativity on my Twitter, but I was kind of underwhelmed. I think we have some great rewards, but I don't know why IS doesn't give us orbs. Like, just give us 50 orbs, like even 100 orbs. Like, I wish they were a little more generous with that, but, you know, they've been around for 5 years and they haven't, so why would they start now? Also, trigger warning, my first impression of the new Mythic, I hate her. And I was so surprised to log onto Twitter and everybody was simping for her. I was sure that, you know, well, I mean, it's IS and it's a Japanese gacha, so we're not going to get a male. But I was sure that it was time for a male, and that if it wasn't, we would get Veronica. And somehow what we got was worse, in my opinion. I don't like Ash. I don't like that she's a cowgirl. I don't like that IS gave us big mommy milkers. I am just not a fan. I know she already has a lot of people that really like her, but just OC wise, it seems like such a waste to me when they just throw in like big booby girls and, you know, call it a day. And obviously I'm not interested in big booby girls, so, you know, that's where I stand with that. About the Awakening editions, I'm so happy Muriel is being added, and she is probably like my most wanted unit that hasn't been in the game. I loved her in Awakening. I don't like that she's voiced by Tara Platt, but I'm really excited that we get 2 free copies of her. I think she'll definitely be a merge project. Okay, so we got another surrender. I really enjoy this game mode. I think it's a breath of fresh air. I think it's been keeping me playing longer than anything recently. Like, I want to grind and get to 1,000 favor. Like I said before, people actually figure out how this game mode works, and it's going to be hard. But I really don't see myself playing this outside of getting all the rewards. I think I would have liked if they maybe even gave us less rewards, but they made it so you can get them with each unit that you successfully get to 1,000 favor for. I think that would keep me playing literally forever, and I mean, I like grinding. It seems that Faye is pretty unique as a gacha where it really kind of doesn't allow grinding. Like, resources are so limited, and some of them you're literally at the mercy of IS giving them to you. So I would have liked if you choose with each different captain you could earn maybe a little less, but still you could earn different rewards. Because I kind of don't see myself playing this after I get Sigurd to 1,000 favor.
Leave it to me. Let's enjoy the festivities.
I know I mentioned stalling before, and I typically hate people who just stall, but there will be times where I am confident that none of their enemy units can take any of my units, so I will just sit there and be like, you know, because why am I going to throw my Sigurd out there for your Brave Erica to kill it when you cannot do anything to any of my units, right? So if I'm feeling like really petty, or if I just it's not worth it, I'm like, you need to go, dude, because I'm sitting good here, so you know you need to make something happen.
I shall strike.
I am very happy that we're finally getting our first black character in Fire Emblem Heroes, and no, I'm not talking about Ash. I think Ash is in that weird kind of situation that Nessa is from Pokemon, where it's like so ambiguous that people really could argue either way whether they're people of color. I mean, I would like to perceive them as people of color, but what I'm saying is I prefer that
Leave it to me.
Japanese gacha games make actual inarguably black characters than like, we may be doing this. You can interpret this as this, you know what I mean? So that's how I feel about that. I'm really happy that Basilio is going to be in the game. So that wraps up my thoughts for this video. Let me know in the comments what you think and how you're enjoying it. I do think this is going to get more competitive as time goes on, as they introduce new maps, new heroes, new gimmicks, and all that kind of stuff. So right now, like I said, my goal is to get to 1,000 before the crap hits the fan. Thank you guys for watching, and remember, the world could always use more heroes.